Hi everyone, it's Roger and James here from the What's on Disney Plus podcast. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking about a number of new trailers that dropped on Disney Plus this week, including the one and only Ivan, Rogue Trip. We're also going to be talking about the spike of users that have been using Disney Plus since Hamilton launch, talk about what's new and a few other bits and pieces as well. But a bit of housekeeping before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, you can also subscribe on audio platforms, including Spotify and Apple. And also just a big thank you to our patrons who make a massive difference to the running of the podcast and obviously the YouTube channel and website. All their support really makes a lot of difference. And you can support it from as little as $1 a month, and it gains you access to the exclusive weekly video. You also get early access to some extra content and some behind the scenes stuff. So big thank you to Seth, Jacob, Sarah, Joshua, The Juice, What's on Netflix, Andrew, and Julie for all of your support. Really does make all of the difference. That. So let's jump into it first off. So James, before we go into all the trailer stuff, what have you been watching this past week?
This past week, I checked out Days of Future Past because that got added here this weekend. It's been a while since I've seen it, and honestly, I'm glad I watched it again. I think it's one of my favorite of the X-Men movies. It's got a lot of flaws, but I just really enjoy it. And honestly, if they had just ended the mainline X-Men series with that movie, I think it would have been satisfying.
It kind of nicely just like joined together the two trilogies and left it like nice and open at the end and just kind of it. But obviously, Fox wanted to kind of get a little bit more in on the action and gave it Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix after that.
Right.
And possibly at one point New Mutants.
Maybe someday. I think we'll still be talking about that in like 2080 or something like that. It's sometime in the near future. It'll be introduced by a 60-year-old Daisy or whatever her name. Maisie Williams, sorry, not Daisy. I don't have any particularly negative feelings towards Apocalypse or Dark Phoenix, but no particularly positive ones either. They had some good fight scenes in them. That's about the best I can say.
Yeah, no, it's kind of. We did start watching through some of the X-Men ones. Unfortunately for me, I've been without internet literally until the last minute before the podcast. All the podcast stuff was in my car to go to the store cupboard at work today, and literally at like 9:30 last night, the internet came into life at the new place, so I was like able to get all of this out of the car and be in there. So that has meant I've not been able to watch anything on Disney Plus at all because we just haven't had the internet, and I have been plowing through my data as it was without bringing in streaming. However, we had Sky installed, so I have actually been watching a lot of National Geographic documentaries because they're all now included in the package, and so that's been kind of quite cool. And just in general, like there's been quite a few movies and stuff on TV recently, like Monsters University was on there I watched the other day. But it'd be nice tonight because we've got the new Sky Q box, which I was updating before I went to bed last night to get Disney Plus through there. And this past week they actually added HDR support for that, so I'm going to interlink all of that later on today, so I can actually watch it through that device rather than through my smart TV, which is looking a little bit it's a bit ropey. It's about 5 years old. I have said that I am going to pick up a new TV. One of those situations where you put the TV into a new house and suddenly it looks tiny, and because we're a little bit further back, so I have said I'm going to, as one of the last few treats for the moving in, get a nice. I did measure up a 75-inch TV the other day, and then when I got back, I realized it would be overhanging the unit by about a foot on each side. I was like, maybe we'll just go for the 65 and it will fit perfectly. It was just like, so that's been me. So it's been one of those really weird weeks this week of like having like no internet. Really just, it's like, no Netflix, no. And so I've been watching TV like on a schedule. Like at 1 o'clock we have 7. We have to watch the one show. It was been really weird being back on what I would call like old-fashioned TV, where you had to wait till 8 o'clock to watch a TV show, and it was like, yeah, I really want to get back to having on demand. I really not liking this idea.
Yeah, I haven't watched a show as it aired. Not counting hockey, and even that's been a while. It's probably been a couple of years now. The closest would be the first episode of High School, the musical the series because that premiered on the Disney Channel in advance of Disney Plus. Even that though, I don't think it was like real time. I think I had it DVR'd and I watched it within an hour of airing. But that's the closest to watching live TV that I've had in years.
Yeah, it was kind of weird going back. I think as well as a few years being a cord cutter, and then I mean we have put the cord back on to get satellite because it's more. Because to be honest, I wasn't entirely convinced that the internet was going to be available because when you move into a brand new property that is there's nothing on the site. I have had it previously in one property that I was a brand new, and it took 6 months to get the internet. So that's why I had satellite installed because I had no faith that this was going to work. So 2 weeks wasn't too bad, but hopefully now I can get back to normal and start watching some bits and pieces. So while we're on it, let's talk about what was added this week because there was quite a few bits and pieces added onto Disney Plus. In the US, it was very, very slim pickings everywhere else. So first off, Solo: A Star Wars Story is now available. It's left Netflix, now available in the US and Canada. So that was like the last Star Wars movie on the Netflix deal. I think we've only really got Ant-Man and the Wasp and Incredibles 2, which are due soon, Wreck-It Ralph 2, and Mary Poppins Returns. They're the last ones left on that Netflix deal. So some big ones there. So Solo, as we said, Days of Future Past from X-Men, which you've watched, which I should really watch again. Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. And I know I really keep feeling like I need to watch those two, the first Percy Jackson movie, because there's so much excitement about the new series.
But a lot of the excitement about the series is the fact that they're not the movies. I haven't seen the movies, but everyone has waved me off. Like, nope, wait for the series.
Well, I think the thing is that everyone that likes the books doesn't like the movies. Whereas I think if you've watched the movies on their own, I don't know if it's a bit like what that Artemis Fowl situation of where and I think maybe the one and only Ivan might come into that as well. When you read a book, the movies don't translate as well as they do. That happens with most things, really. I mean, very rarely do you have the movie outpace the book. So that's cool. I mean, the actual author of the Percy Jackson series did actually go to Twitter this week and confirm that the new series is going to be about at least 2 years before it becomes available. And I think that was quite good for him to be quite open about that and get that out there, because I think there's a lot of people heard that he's working on a new series and are now asking for trailers, and it's like he's literally writing the script right now that he could flip the page. That's about as much as he can do.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be getting a trailer anytime soon. I don't think they've even casted most of the actors yet, and it wouldn't do to cast them because it is supposed to be a young cast. So if they cast them now, by the time they actually film it, most of them it's Hollywood, so they won't outgrow the roles, but they'll be older than they are now, which makes a difference when you're talking about younger actors.
And I also think as well as if you are planning on doing a 5-series thing with kids, they've got to kind of get them almost. He's gonna need to keep going with that because they're gonna need to do it quite quickly and get them filmed like almost back to back. Whoever they sign up, it's like, well, you're in this for like 3 years or 4 years because we're gonna need to keep filming this almost constantly, and because that's the issue with these. Otherwise, you end up with if you look at like New Mutants, you would have the problem now where they're 5 years older than when they started, and
I think they might be older than
visually
that too.
different. Yeah.
And even when they do it right, I just finished watching the Harry Potter movies. We were doing one a week with some friends, and you can absolutely tell the difference between year 1 Harry Potter and year 8 Harry Potter. Year 8 being the second half of year 7. Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, all of them, they are not kids anymore. They are not year 7 students. And that was Harry Potter. They were still doing almost a movie a year for a good portion of the time there and keeping up with it, and they couldn't do it. If Harry Potter couldn't do it, I absolutely guarantee Percy Jackson can't do it. Any of these, and that's not a problem too bad. We're used to it. It's only a problem if there's like a 4-year gap between the filming of season 3 and season 4 or something like that.
Yeah, because I feel like in some ways, like Tom Holland is kind of, he's still very youthful looking, but he's supposed to be like 14, 15 in like Civil War. So obviously by the time Spider-Man 3 comes around, it'll probably been like 5-6 years by the time that kind of rolls around. So we're going to kind of have to get used to it. But I did think it was cool that he was quite open about that, of how long it's going to take, and setting fans' expectations a bit.
Oh yeah, and it's good for him to be out there because we know that he was very vocal about the movies. He hated the movies, and to have him out there kind of doing some unofficial PR is a good sign for what we're hoping out of this new series of Percy Jackson. I was going to say movies, shows.
Yeah. So moving on from there, we got a new season in the US and Canada called Critter Fixers Country Vets. Try and say that one fast. That one looks kind of quite interesting to watch. From Disney Channel, we've also got Gigantosaurus season 1. Interesting thing with this one might also be appearing on Netflix, because I don't think it's an exclusive streaming deal. Because while it airs on Disney Junior, it's not made by Disney. It's like been franchised out. I think it looks pretty cool. I've messed about a bit with the video game here and there, so that one looks pretty good.
I love dinosaurs. So
yeah, you goes wrong with dinosaurs. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Secrets of the Zoo season 3 was also added as well to the US and Canada. Cosmos: A Space-Time Odyssey season 1 was added to the US. That one again has been available in other regions before that. And then we get into the Disney Plus originals. So we got Disney Family Sundays, One Day at Disney, It's a Dog's Life with Bill Farmer. Now, this is where things got a little bit lacking, because like Australia, they got the 2 shorts and It's a Dog's Life. That's all they got. And in the UK, we got that plus One Day at Disney. The Marvel Hero Project, which they're still stretching out. Why that was. And we also got Apollo's missions to the moon. I mean, it really was like, is that it? Because previously, we'd had reports of what was coming, and we were expecting those shows to come to the UK. This is what I hate about the Disney UK website this month didn't even put the full list up of what's coming to the UK. I mean, there was a lot of people on Twitter and stuff looking at the official list when it came out, because I thought, I'll just go in, because it's always nice to use the official list, because sometimes things drop on there that they haven't previously announced, like that Apollo missions one. And the response was, people were just going, is that it? Is that all we got? It's like, you've announced, it's like, yeah, it's pretty light if you've only got 2 shorts and one episode. That's pretty light.
Yeah, I can't hold that against you guys. That's not really acceptable, and I don't know where the that totally distracted my train of thought there.
Sorry, I'm gonna get my cola fix. I think, like, the thing is, obviously, from our point of view, like, Solo: A Star Wars Story, X-Men, Days of Future Past, and Percy Jackson are already on Disney Plus. Percy Jackson got, I think, added recently, but the other 2 were there from day one. So this is where, like, Disney have like made up this massive, great big list of stuff that's coming up over the summer. And other than, like, I think the Peanuts movie and World's Greatest Showman, everything else was already available. So that's always just a weird thing with it.
Yeah, and it would really help if they had some more back catalog titles they could use to fill in the space. I mean, we know there's a lot of stuff still available. They just have to make it ready. I mean, it's obviously not as simple a process as go grab the reels, digitize them, and throw them online. They've got to do more than that, and it's effort that they could be doing towards something else. But yeah, at the same time, you can't be sitting there going, all right, you get these 2 shorts that were already out, that barely anyone cares about to begin with.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But then I also look at how Disney have reorganized their summer with these drip feeding of a big movie every single week. And I actually think that's a really smart move. And you look at that and go, yeah, I can, if you've got a load of movies, you just drop them week by week by week. And suddenly that, it's like saying today, this week, you've got Solo and X-Men. That's actually a really good lineup. For American viewers, you're looking at that. I think that was a really great week. You have 3 major movies coming out of Disney Plus. You can't go wrong with that. But if you already had them, it was a bit light. Now, that's just something we're going to see quite a bit, I think, going forward. The rest of the weeks coming out don't look as dry. I mean, on the Australian website, literally there was last Friday and next Friday. They didn't even bother putting anything in for this week because there was none. I was like, okay, but hopefully that's just going to be a rarity that we get a really bad week like that.
It's kind of the redux of earlier this year when The Mandalorian finished and High School the musical, and all that stuff finished up, and there was this lull where we're sitting there going, "Okay, we loved your opening act. What you got for us?" And
Yeah.
so this is the new version of that. Hopefully, they just get past pretty quickly. They've had a pretty solid schedule, like you were talking about. We do the 2 weeks. So what's great about that is you can watch X-Men Days of Future Past this week, and next week you can be like, all right, well, it's a light week. I'll check out Solo, or I'll check out this back catalog item that I've been eyeing out and do the Race to Witch Mountain or something like that came out a couple weeks ago. Some you have that week where you don't feel pressured, like I have to sit down and watch The Mandalorian and I don't have time to watch other things. You actually have a chance to get caught up on that, or you can pop over to HBO Max or Hulu or Netflix and try something over there instead.
Yeah, I think they're all going to start slowly running out of content because the back catalogue that they built up before March when all the shutdown is starting to dry up. So we are going to start seeing things dropping out. I mean, Netflix apparently has enough stuff to go for a lot longer, but everything's going to start being hit probably like October, November, etc. Normally in the summer things drop off a little bit, but let's move on from there. Let's talk about what's coming next week. Is going to be the new series called Road Trip, which is a 6-part series with an ABC News correspondent and his son traveling around the world to 6 different countries. We got to see the trailer this week. What did you think of it?
Not a bad little trailer. Kind of laid out what the point was. Father-son road trip to various places that you normally wouldn't think to visit. I do think they're going to have a little bit of a hard time pitching. Yeah, this used to be a war zone. That part over there, that blew up last time I was here. But now we're going to go diving over here. Maybe not a great pitch, but as a television show, I think there's some potential here.
I mean, I saw this trailer and instantly was like, yeah, I'm in. I mean, I've said before, I'm someone that has done lots of backpacking. I've traveled all around the world. I love travel documentaries and travel like vlog kind of style things where they talk. So if this was coming up on the BBC or Netflix, I would watch this no matter what platform it was on. If I saw that trailer, I'd be like, I'm in. I'll watch that. I don't know who they are, but I don't care because I just love seeing people travel around. And so that trailer to me was like, yeah, that would have been if I saw that on any channel, I would have watched it regardless of where it was from. And that to me says like, okay, cool. We're going to get all 6 episodes on Friday. No waiting week to week. Seems to be the thing with all like the documentary series and stuff that we get with that one. But yeah, thought the trailer was good. Didn't look to be a huge amount of excitement in terms of how many people were watching the trailers. Wasn't a huge surprise. The concept of an ABC News correspondent and National Geographic does tend to send the large audience running off in for the hills. Whereas I look at that and go, that is prime, I would say mainstream audience for something that I would love to watch rather than and I think that's always going to be the case, and it's why they're dropping all of them at home. But I'm really looking forward to the series.
Yeah, and I do appreciate that they're relatively unknowns. I think if you watch ABC, they probably know who they are. I admittedly do not. We had this whole conversation about not watching live TV and whatnot. Yeah. I appreciate that they're people we don't know, because I think that when you have somebody famous, you go in with certain expectations, or you go in with predisposition towards that person. Let's say, for instance, that Elephants documentary with the Duchess. I totally forgot her name now. Kate something. Seriously, I totally forgot her name. Megan. There we go. That's not even a joke. I literally forgot her name. Anyway, the Duchess of Sussex. Yeah. There's that. I swear I'm not doing it on purpose. Yeah, when they announced that she's doing the elephant documentary, there's expectations, there's backlash, there's all sorts of stuff. These guys, you can just go in and you can hear their story, and you can hear the story of what they're visiting, and you don't have any other baggage attached to it.
Yeah. I also like as well, I think this whole thing, they're kind of playing up on the idea of the dad and son doing the trip together, and the son having more time with the dad because he didn't get to do that when he was younger because he was out touring the world for ABC, which I like. I mean, at the minute over here in the UK, they've been showing a rerun of like Bradley Walsh and his son doing a trip around, and that's more of a comedy thing. This one doesn't look quite so much of that, But I like these kind of things. Netflix had one recently with Jack Whitehall and his dad. Very different, but I see these are all these. There's something about people going traveling, and it's just something I enjoy. So I'm really looking forward to that series. Interesting that they kind of left that trailer pretty much the last minute. Hopefully people will watch it. I can't wait to watch it this next week. But that's good. So moving on from there, we also got the trailer for the one and only Ivan, which is going to be dropping onto Disney Plus on August the 14th. This would have been coming to cinemas first. But what did you think of that trailer?
Well, first of all, it helped that I had absolutely no idea what to expect from the trailer to begin with, because I didn't even know what the basic story was. Yeah. Having seen it now, it seems okay. It's kind of got like Mighty Joe Young kind of vibe, like the talented gorilla. I think he was a gorilla. Bryan Cranston, always generally entertaining, good actor, a lot of range. That said, I'm still kind of sitting here like, cool.
Yeah, I kind of watched it. It was like, okay, this was not what I was expecting. This is the situation where we've not seen any teasers, we've not seen any posters, we've not seen any images until this dropped, which is always a bit like, what's going on here with this one? The voice sounds pretty good. I mean, Dumbo looked pretty good. The little kid in it, it kind of was this like Dumbo 2? Because it looked identical in terms of the CGI. I like the gorilla, painting and wanting to go back to the wild, and the kid growing up in the 70s watching Robin Hood at the cinema. It's funny with the actor now, because I have watched a few episodes of Breaking Bad, but to me he's always the dad from Malcolm in the Middle, so that's where I associate him from, rather than it's like. So I watched it. I watched the trailer a couple of times back just to make sure I got the gist of it. I'm like, cool, this looks good. This is a cinema release that should have been at Sphinx. I think they've made the right call, because this would not have pulled people into the audiences, I don't think. I think this is a perfect streaming. I think this will do better than Artemis Fowl, because I think this one's a bit more broader appeal. Hopefully it's good. That's going to be the main thing for this one. But the CGI looks pretty good. Didn't see anything noticeably different. The whole thing about the chicken crossing the road, that was kind of funny.
It was a little forced, but it kind of
crossing the road to get to the other side.
It's hilarious because it's a famous joke, right? It'll hit with the right audience. That's obviously it's telling you what kind of range it's aiming for here, which is fine.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen Mighty Joe Young. So instantly my thing of like gorillas, I think of Planet of the Apes, but it's a very different kind of movie, or George of the Jungle. But
that would be a great twist to the story, though. It's really Caesar.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks fun. And at the moment, it's really nice just to have like a movie to look forward to. It's like, I think that was like, even like with Artemis Fowl and stuff, just like, yeah, it's like, cool, let's just jump in and like see it. I thought the trailer, like the animation style that they were using, like the art things, looked kind of funky. You could tell that it was the last minute ditch to kind of flip it over to the Disney Plus side. But I think this is going to be a big hit. I think this is going to be really, I'm hoping like when the reviews and stuff come out, people will give I think again, when you've got a streaming service, people are much more forgiving to watch stuff when they're not paying for it. And this is, I know a lot of people go, well, where's Mulan and all the rest of it? But I think this is a perfect opportunity. I don't think it would have pulled people in at the cinema to draw people back had it released in August the 14th. And I think this is a perfect movie for Disney Plus. And also this, look at it anyway. This one and Artemis Fowl, we're getting some big budget movies, and I don't think in the future we'll be getting those kind of Disney Plus originals unless the numbers showing that are working.
I was going to say, I think if the numbers kind of work in their favor, they could justify going, well, we can maybe throw a little bit more of a budget at this than we thought we could. But I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know how Artemis Fowl looked on their side. We don't know how this will look on their side. But I agree with you. This is a great entry into Disney Plus, and I think this will actually raise its perception a bit, because when this was going to scheduled to drop in theaters, I can't see it doing particularly well unless the reviews were like, this is amazing, this is the most like motivating story of the year, you have to go and see it. Wouldn't have done particularly well, and people would have forgotten about it like the week after it released. And then when it finally came to Disney Plus, it'd be like, oh yeah, that gorilla movie. But between it coming directly to Disney Plus, and then also, as we were talking about earlier, people just being starved for new content, and it's going to, I mean, we're not even at like the true starvation phase, but we're already kind of like, just give me something new. Everyone's already binge watched Tiger King. We just need something new. This will hit much better now than it would have in a normal situation.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of pushing into that. Hamilton obviously got released last week, and apparently it had a massive impact on Disney Plus. They apparently pulled in over 500,000 downloads globally, excluding India and Japan. It's up like 70-80% on interest in where it normally is. The amount of people, and obviously as well, this was the key issue. They got rid of the free trials. It means that everyone that signed in paid their $7 regardless to watch it. I mean, it was trending all over social media. It's been trending pretty much ever since. It's been lots of people talking about it. It's been a massive spot. Now, Disney paid like $75 million for access to that movie that was going to be released in cinemas. The question is, has it brought in over $75 million worth of new Disney Plus subscriptions? That's the question that they need to do. If it brings in 50-60 million and it just continues that thing going on, was that worth it? I don't know if necessarily, will they release it at cinemas? I think they could do. Still planning on it, I think, for next year. I mean, it depends if people are going back and all the rest of it. But, it seems that one paid off. That was a move that they've done for July to kind of give us an original, and I think it's a good thing. I mean, there's a lot of people excited about it. Easily, I would say 9 out of 10 people seem to just absolutely love it and are really excited about it. And I think that's great because they even added a new special yesterday on Disney Plus where they kind of spoke with the cast, and that's exclusive to Disney Plus as well. They did have that I think the Undefeated special that they put up last week. Interestingly enough, they put it in the extra section, and they've now removed it and put it on, so it made it look like it was brand new, like on Tuesday. They keep doing that with stuff. They keep putting things in the extras and then realizing no one clicks in there. And then they put it on, like the Roger Rabbit shorts were originally on there as extras, and then they moved them out into their own thing. There was a Frankenweenie short that they took out from the extras and put on it. And I think they may be realizing the extras options, you might as well put them out there as full things rather than that. But nice just to see Hamilton getting this big spike.
Yeah, for the last point first and then bouncing back. I think a lot of people expect the extras to be like the trailers, maybe like a concept art kind of thing, like you would expect on the bare bones DVD release back in the day. So nobody bothers clicking on it, and it makes more sense to put them out on their own. That said, Hamilton, I love that people are getting super excited for it. We knew it was going to be a big hit. This is the first chance that a lot of people have had to see it. Whether they liked it or not doesn't matter. They watched it, and that's great. The question, was it worth it, is not something that will be answered for a very long time, and it probably will never be answered publicly. But it's not just those new subscriptions, the brand new, the $7 that people paid. It's do they keep paying $7 month after month? They saw Hamilton. Do they stay for The Mandalorian? Do they stay for...
Well, it's like now, I was just going to say, like dropping the trailer for The One and Only Ivan this week, in some ways now it's like the Hamilton people that are going, well, I'm going to cancel this month. Oh, well, we've got another movie next month. Oh, well, it's the same price as a cinema ticket. We'll just keep it. And I think that is,
same price as a cinema. Not in America.
Well, my local cinema is $4.99 a month, $4.99 a ticket. So... and Disney Plus is $5.99 a month. So we are talking. I mean, that's just for me on my own. Obviously, if I go as a family or if we go a few more, then that's a completely different thing.
No. There are definitely theaters here which have cheaper ticket options, but if you're going to one of the big chains, AMC, Cinemark, etc., even during matinee hours, you're looking at $8 minimum, which is already more expensive than Disney Plus. But if you're going at any other time, $12 minimum plus some surcharges. Kids might be $1 or $2 off. People over 65 might be $1 or $2 off. But even if you don't buy anything else, you just buy the ticket yourself, you're already looking at like $14 up front.
Yeah, I mean,
Disney Plus looks so much better compared to that.
yeah, I mean that was the thing. I think like when I like cinema, they used to. I remember going and seeing Superman, Man of Steel was probably the last one where it was like $12.99 each. So I went, me and my wife went. I was like, I just spent £25 on going and watching the Superman movie on opening day, and other than like the Avengers and things like that, I do it. So whereas that they just literally just blanket $4.99 all seats, all times. And I'll be honest, before the pandemic, every time you went, there were so many more people in there. It was much. So it did work. But in some, I was driving last night when I drove past the cinema to go along, and they still got the 4 night. So it's constantly in my mindset. But now well, I have to keep forgetting that you leave the little seaside towns and they're all more pricey.
Actually, yeah, I think I saw Toy Story 4 in London, and I think we paid like £9.99 per ticket. So
yeah. I mean, I remember last time I went to cinema in London was for Shrek 2, and I think it was $12.99, and that was like 20 years ago. It was like
no, we were at a matinee time, so I don't even know what the regular prices were, but yeah, of course it's going to be different for everybody. If you have a good local theater like you've got, then yeah, the prices are much more reasonable. But for most of us, at least in the States, it's going to be AMC, it's going to be Cinemark, Regal Cinemas, something like that. And at that point, you're like, for a regular non-matinee ticket, I'm already paying twice the cost of a Disney Plus subscription for 1 month. And if you're going with kids, obviously you're buying popcorn, cola. I tried to merge cola and soda into a single word there for some reason. For people at home, this is the first time we have recorded at my midnight hour for several months. So my brain's still kind of screwy.
Yeah, well, this is it. Because for me, the last 3 months in lockdown, we've been recording like in the middle of the afternoon, because I was like, well, why do I have to get up? There's no need for me to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not leaving the house. You are not leaving the house. Because now I'm back to real life work. So I've got to go to work after I finish recording this. So we're all on like it's like this morning, I'm like, oh, okay, I've got to get up half 6.
And I'm sitting here like, oh man, I have to stay up past midnight. And I know some people are like, well, that's what I do normally, but I have not gotten used to it. The pandemic, I've gotten used to going to bed at like 10 o'clock at night. And right now my brain's kind of going, you should be asleep. I'm going to totally just fuzz with your brains. So I'm like screwing up Megan and Kate Middleton and all this stuff going on right now.
Yeah, we'll put that down to that one. But yeah, I think this as a whole, I think it was now if you're going to have to go to the cinema with a mask on and there's limited seating, you've got all that. While cinemas over here just opened up last weekend, now there's a lot of talk about the fact of having to wear masks at shops and stuff. So therefore, you'd imagine cinemas would come into that as well. And I know in the US, they've already been talking about it. And the idea of going and watching the one and only Ivan or Mulan in a cinema with a mask on for 2, it's like, or you just sit at home with your feet up on your couch. And, if you are happening to buy a massive, great big TV, like I'm in the upgrade, is like, yeah, it's just more comfortable. And I think we're going to see that more and more. I've noticed, there's a lot of push for Scoob at the minute on TV over here, and just that whole video on demand. I think how long this goes on for, Disney are going to have to change the strategy. I still was surprised they've not done the whole premium on demand thing, but they've held back. But at the same time, Hamilton, Artemis Fowl, the one and only Ivan have all dropped week to week to week, or month to month to month. We've also had Onward, kind of was April's version. What will we get in September? It feels like we're almost getting a big movie a month right now, and Disney have got a massive catalog, and now they're back filming stuff and things are moving around a bit more. Things are opening up, because saw Tom Holland, I think he's out in Germany now filming the new Sony Uncharted movie. I know that they've been out in New Zealand filming the new Avatar movies, and things are starting to sort of crawl back to some kind of normality, but they're still quite a way off yet. But anything else you want to add on the Hamilton spike in users?
Not particularly. I think the spike isn't going to go away. I think people are still going to be checking in on Hamilton, because now the hype train is really going on that. But
Mm.
but the big spike is there. But it's not going to be like up, down. It's going to be up and then kind of trickle.
Yeah. So moving on from there, there is a new Peter Pan live action movie set to go into production soon called Peter and Wendy. And according to the latest reports from Variety, Captain Hook is set to be played by Jude Law. He's in talks to do that. Now he's not the first person. I think was it the guy that played the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He was originally in talks for it, but now Jude Law is. Another live action one. It looks like this one's going to be set to go straight to cinemas rather than to Disney Plus. Yeah, I mean, there's been lots of talk. I think at one point Margot Robbie was being talked about as being Tinkerbell, but at the same time, she's also set to be in a new Pirates of the Caribbean movie. So yeah, it's all kind of moving all around. There's a lot. It does feel like this week things have sort of been slowing down. I mean, it looks like a lot of the meetings have kind of been going on. And now they're maybe going, well, we've got the next 3 years of stuff planned. We just need to get moving on all of this.
Yeah, even if they wanted to announce things, there's really nowhere in the schedule for them to stick things anymore. Anything they announce at this point is like, well, coming in 2023, we will have Avengers 6, the geriatric edition. But getting back to the idea of like Jude Law, I think he would make an interesting Captain Hook. It's a potentially different take on the character because he's normally a fairly old character, and Jude Law, while maybe not as young as he used to be, is still a fairly young actor. I think there could be a very interesting take on that from him.
Depends really how they play it up, whether or not they make it fun and lighthearted, or if it's serious. That is true. That's the line really of how this goes. If Captain Hook is a serious villain, or if he's just a comedic kind of foil and does it TikTok is the crocodile in it?
I you know what, I don't know if I've ever known the crocodile's name. I just know that he's got the clock in his stomach and he tick tock in a very subtle symbolism of Hook's fear of time. Really subtle, obviously.
I'm sure because I'm not. Am I getting it mixed up with the app? I was like, I'm sure because I'm sure I used to. I've had like a Vinimation and stuff of what he was called, but yeah, no, maybe not. Maybe that's where I've just put my mind in. But it depends really on how they're going to play. Because maybe if they have fun with it, but I don't know. Because apparently they're going to have they've just got young kids playing it. There's going to be a New Zealand young kid going to be playing Peter, and also Mila Djokovic's daughter will be playing Wendy. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this one. It's kind of, I think, funny the fact that Disney are redoing Peter Pan when 20th Century Fox literally just released Wendy just before the pandemic hit, and that one seemed to go nowhere.
It went nowhere, but it did get good critical reception, and everybody I know who's seen it said that it was pretty solid. But this is, again, one of those Hollywood trends where one company's like, we're going to do the Wendy story. Well, we're going to do Peter and Wendy, or we're going to do a movie about a giant asteroid hitting the planet. Well, we're going to do a movie about an asteroid getting blown up just before it gets to the planet.
Yeah, or we're going to do a volcano movie. That was the other one. That was another year we had that one.
Bugs Life and
Ants. Yeah, you kind of have these kind of situations.
There's a term for it. I don't know what it is offhand, but there's a term for
it. It's kind of, it is strange how that all happens. But yeah, so that kind of going there. Looking, it's been, like I said, the news has kind of been it does feel like it's been drying up a little bit in terms of what's been going on. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up all the news from this week because there's not really much more left on the Disney Plus side. There was the music video was released for the Star Wars The Mandalorian theme. Is it Ludwig Göransson? And it's actually kind of quite funky because you watched it and the music plays up and you go, oh, I love this music. It's like, but he sat there playing the instruments in the volume, so it makes it look like he sat there on Tatooine doing the things. And it's like, yes, I can't wait for season 2. I'm just like this is so teasing. because obviously as well, you got the San Diego Comic-Con is coming up in like 2 weeks. The only things really we're going to see from Disney are going to be like the Phileas and Ferb movie, the Marvel 616 show, and also there was something else. I can't think of what it was. It was I think Road Trip or something like that. It's not a huge amount there. I think a lot of people were getting excited for like Marvel reveals at San Diego Comic-Con, and Marvel are going, yeah, we don't need to do this right now. We're going to be holding off, and anything Star Wars would have been held back for Star Wars Celebration anyway.
Yeah, and I would rather Marvel put their resources towards finishing Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know, get those ready. I know they've still got filming to do, but they've got special effects work on the episodes that are in the can already. Work on those, get it finished. Decide how you're going to do your release schedule is going to be cut in half, 3 and 3, or 4 and 2, whatever you're going to do. It would be great to get a trailer. I would rather them get the thing finished first.
Interesting thing with these as well. For some reason, sometimes things just like jump up. You see on the internet of a whole load of articles were jumping around because there were placeholder pages put up for Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki and stuff, and the trailer was available, and everyone's getting really excited. And I'm going, this came up at the Super Bowl. It's like these pages have they've been there for like 6 months, and it's the same trailer that was at the Super Bowl. And everyone is like jumping because then everyone's going, oh, the new trailer's out. And I'm thinking, this is real clickbait. This has been out for like 6 months. And I just wanted to bring it out because sometimes it's like really annoying when a news story breaks and you go, this is like 6 months old, and it's like so, and then someone's picked up on it, and then another person picks up on it, and another site picks up on it, and going, guys, this is old news. Like...
You also have to watch out for placeholder pages for stuff that hasn't been announced yet. So it's not even old news, but you'll see stuff like release information for Mandalorian season 2 or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it'll be like, here's the release date, and that'll be in like the little metadata tag or the little description in Google, and you click on it, it's like the release date is, we don't know, it hasn't been announced yet. But the pages are designed so that it looks like they get updated every single day. So they pop up in the Google search and you'll be like, when is the release date? Oh, this page was updated just yesterday. There must have been news. No, there wasn't. And this is not Disney Plus specific. No. Pretty much any television show or streaming show. Like, when is Stranger Things season 4? Oh, check out the article. We've got all the details.
Well,
nothing's been announced.
I'll be honest. I mean, I do those. I haven't written one for a while, but I would tend to put them up whenever a movie was being released or trailers would break for new ones to sell out when people were coming to, because ultimately they were really popular, and people kept asking. When under normal circumstances we would have had trailers for movies that are coming out in like October, November. So whenever those would break, you would put them up there because people are looking for it, and that's how it works and stuff. But because I always felt it was a bit like it's not coming for 9 months or 6 months until afterwards, and that was always the thing. But yeah, they are often one of the most popular articles, and I know why everyone does them. But when things like the things of like a Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailers, I'm going, yeah, no, that's not really. This was a Super Bowl trailer. Someone's randomly found it. But nevertheless, that's pretty much going to wrap up this week's episode. Just want to say a big thank you to everyone for joining us on this one. Again, go check us out over at Patreon as well, where you can help support the channel. It just helps, covering all the bits and pieces like that. And we shall see you guys in another episode. Laters.
And hopefully I'll be more coherent next time too.
I must admit, getting up every morning to go to work for this last few days, I'm like, oh, really? This is what life's like? I forgot. I'm up like 3 hours earlier than I was in lockdown. It was like, oh, okay. But as I said, it's great also as well. If anyone watching the video version, I am now in the studio. So it does make life, it's so much easier just to kind of roll out of bed, brush my teeth, grab a drink, and then come into the studio. It's rather nice. But nevertheless, we shall see you guys soon. Later.